Hey, everybody, welcome in. It's a brand new TSFS. I am your host, Sarah Fraser. I am so glad that you are here. We are live on TikTok as well. I love going to the TikTok lines. The TikTokers always have great hot takes. So let's get into it because we got a ton of tea. We got tea to cover for this week's Sister Wives episode. Season 20, episode 7. How are we already 7 episodes in, baby, on season 20? Now, if you follow Sister Wives, you know this is, again, one of those seasons where fans are saying, this is so boring. They're quitting in droves, but honey, I can't quit. I can't quit you. I love this show, okay? Just when you think you can't get any more cringeworthy, it does. Some of the hot topics that people are talking about from this week's episode include people are shocked that it took Robyn so damn long to answer if she has happy memories of her wedding. Maddie Brown, of course, revealed that she hasn't spoken to her father in years. So people weren't totally surprised by that, but they were, that gave people pause. David Woolley, poor David Woolley. David Woolley getting a lot of heat. A lot of heat this week. He had his first big fight with Christine. People have a lot of hot takes on that. And he specifically said, Peyton, when Peyton is arguing with you, the only thing the guy can use is movie quotes instead of actually speaking from his heart, which, for David, David wasn't happy. But fans now kind of think that David is like fangirling himself and is a hanger-oner. Y'all loved David last season. How are we doing a 180 on David? And then why fans, Meri Brown, so interesting. Meri getting a ton of empathy this week. And I'll tell you what specifically on the show, on the episode, has fans going, okay, why have we tortured Meri for years? Okay. I got all that. Lydia Plath from Welcome to Plathville has given another podcast interview. Olivia Plath, if you want to meet Olivia Plath, you can now take a trip with her to the Balkans. And you all have messaged me. You're like, Sarah, you're on the verge of being real friends with Olivia. You ought to go. Guys, I am 6 months pregnant, basically. I ain't going to the Balkans next June. I'm not. I'll have a newborn. I love Olivia Plath. It would be so interesting. I would sit there. She's got hot political takes. I could argue with her all week long on politics. I ain't going. Okay, but a lot of people are going to go. So she's getting a lot of interest. We have that to cover. We have Blake Lively tea. TMZ is now admitting Justin Baldoni winning his case against Blake Lively, apologized to Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's lawyer. We got to talk about that. And Kate Gosselin has now gone Instagram official with her bodyguard/boyfriend. And yes, this is the same bodyguard boyfriend she had around for like 15 years. People are like, girl, he ain't a new boyfriend. Steve Nealed. They are now Instagram and TikTok official. Now, look, John Gosling, I was obsessed with, oh my God, John and Kate +8. Like, what a bitch she was. Like, her hair, the bitchiness, John Gosling in those. Oh my God, what did he wear? The t-shirts that he wore. Remember everybody used to wear them in the early aughts. It's not like Eddie Bauer. It's not Van Dutch or Von Dutch. What was that? Like those awful t-shirts that John Gosling would wear for that company. Y'all, I used to be obsessed with them. They were such great tabloid fodder. Ed Hardy, thank you. This is why I love the TikTok lines. Those damn Ed Hardy t-shirts, do you all remember? He would rock out to those. Now, John Gosling, he's like lives in Pennsylvania still, and he's a DJ all up and down the East Coast. I'm sorry, I want to go to Atlantic City so badly and see him DJ a set. I would freak out. I've reached out to John Gosling numerous times. He reads my messages to come on this show, but he so far has not. If you're friends with John, come on the show. I'd have Kate on. Even better, I want Kate and Steve Nealed, the longtime bodyguard, who, by the way, was apparently married back in the day when he became her bodyguard. And John Gosling and his kids, the ones that speak to him, have been saying for years, yeah, okay, she a homewrecker. Well, now is she going public with Steve? He was a hot bodyguard back in the day. Look, I don't care who you are. Come on my show, tell your Okay, we're back. I don't know. My internet dropped out for a second. So let's get into all these topics because, like I said, I have 10,000 stories I want to talk about. Let's start with Sister Wives this week and what fans are most shocked about. You can weigh in on my TikTok lines. Oh, we're almost 400 strong. Let's get to 600. Hit the gifts. Tell me what you love about Sister Wives, what you hate. Spill the tea if you live in Flagstaff, Arizona, and you run into these people all the time. Fans, somewhat shocked that Maddie Brown admitted on the episode this week she hasn't spoken to her father in 2 to 3 years. She and Kody haven't spoken. Janelle confirmed that. And by the way, he didn't even know she was pregnant. Like, she's walking around the neighborhood trying to induce birth. Kody on the other side of the country, he don't even know she preggers. Okay, that's an estrangement. All right, that's an estrangement. So fans were a little surprised about that. People are siding with Meri. So Meri getting a lot of support over the past 10 days for 2 reasons. I already told you about this. Mykelti, of course, and Tony did an interview with the YouTubers from Pop Psych last week. I thought it was riveting. And they essentially, Mykelti makes no bones about the fact she is never going to be close with Meri. Feels like Meri was very mean, shamed them. Over the years, the abuse thing has been thrown out. And in my opinion, when I listened to that interview, I felt as though Mykelti is not going to get into the nitty gritty because somebody has threatened a lawsuit. Now, that was not explicitly said on Pop Psych. It was the way that Mykelti answered their questions, essentially saying, well, I'm not going to get into the weeds of what Meri did because I have to be very careful about the terminology I use, the words I picked. I thought that was interesting. I'm just saying, to me, like, if you're that word selective, you worried about somebody coming after you. Because if it's the truth and they try to sue you for defamation or whatever, if it's the truth, it's the truth. It was odd to me, the answer. So Meri got a lot of support from that episode because people were like, girl, all she did was basically like yell at you guys when you were kids. They had a bunch of kids running around. And obviously, for whatever reason, Meri kind of was like the outcast of the family for a long time. A lot of people have gone back, watched episodes, watched seasons, and feel like from a long time, Kody has treated Meri like shit. So here's this woman trying to navigate being on television, being a mom. She's shared her infertility journey, of course, and things were challenging. So people are giving Meri a lot of grace. They're also giving Meri grace from this week's episode because they're like, why are the producers making this woman go through an old box of marriage material from Kody? Like, why are they making this woman drudge up a box of, that was actually, when you guys said that on my YouTube, because by the way, my YouTube has a bunch of comments. If you're not subscribed to the Sarah Fraser Show on YouTube and the podcast, please do. It's so entertaining. I read most of the comments you guys post. They're so good. And people are like, why did producers make Meri go get this box from her past with her damn wedding dress, with a note that the codester wrote to her, and rehash these memories? So people are siding with her that it just feels unkind that the producers are making her relive these memories. Now, is it the producers? Is it like, did Meri voluntarily offer to do that? I don't know. It's hard to say because these shows are real, but they're planned in the sense like producers often call you a couple weeks ahead of time and they're like, hey, we want you to talk about this, or we know, next week they're going to be at Coyote Pass. They're all going to meet in person. I'm sure production loves the idea and loved the idea of Kody, Janelle, and Meri coming face to face, and maybe Robyn. So did producers go, hey, why don't you go through a box of your old wedding stuff? Or was Meri really genuinely cleaning it out and they happened to capture that? But people are praising Meri for her sewing talents because she made her own wedding dress, which I got to say, I thought that was damn good. She and her grandmother made that. I thought it was pretty epic. And they're also basically saying it just seemed unkind to make her sit there and go through all that wedding stuff. Okay. As I mentioned, people were shocked that Robyn Brown paused as long as she did to talk about if her wedding had good memories. And of course, all she answers with is she accomplished what she wanted to accomplish. you know, this ain't helping those divorce rumors that the two of them are kaput. They're not getting divorced. Kody and Robyn, there's no way they're getting divorced. They're hot and heavy. They're good to go. Now, I already called it on my episode this week, my full recap of Sister Wives season 20, episode 7. I believe Kody Brown, we saw him auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. I think that's going to be his next reality show. He's on Special Forces. He's made it so, he's super far along on Special Forces, like he's having a baby. He's very far along in the pregnancy. He's doing well on Special Forces. He's doing well on Special Forces. We'll talk a little bit about that too, because I'm caught up. But anyhow, people were surprised. Everybody is praising Maddie's daughter, Evie, who was so cute on the episode. Evie basically asking them about Maddie giving birth and how long she was going to be away. People were like, this little girl is she's just so mature. She's so cute. People loved it. Loved it, loved it. And then before I get into Special Forces, the other big thing was David Woolley, as I was telling you guys about, getting backlash this morning. You leave my David alone. You leave my David Woolley alone. A couple of reasons. First of all, people were like, David needs to pump the brakes a little bit with that Peyton Christine argument. And of course, Christine's going to take the side of her son. I thought that was that's what, good parents do. That scene drove me bonkers because we don't get to the heart of what the fight was about. All we know is Peyton and David had some sort of argument, disagreement, and Peyton used movie quotes to kind of try to wrap up the argument or try to argue his side. And David is like, dude, be a real man, speak from your heart. Why the fuck are you trying to quote Top Gun when we're talking about whatever they were? So people are saying to David Woolley, David, these guys were basically in a crazy polygamy cult for 25 years. Of course they don't know how to process emotion normally. This ain't like they've been out in the real world, navigating. They were homeschooled forever. How do they really navigate emotions, right? But the other thing that people are saying is people are beginning to think that David is more and more of just a fangirl, because we know, and this was brought up in Christine's book, which came out in September, but for some reason this point is going viral again. It's on, people are talking about this and debating it all over my YouTube, but people are like, David is a hanger-oner who wanted to be on TV and deliberately had watched Sister Wives before he met Christine. And David and his daughter made a profile for him so he could specifically meet Christine. So a lot of people feel like the more David is on camera, the more he's loving it. I feel like David is so well matched for her. I don't know, but I do worry a little bit about their relationship because I think they're such different people. David is like a wild child. That man looks like he could be a member of Hell's Angels. And David, he's ready to get down, for a good time. I like David, but he getting backlash this morning for basically saying, look, let everyone be reminded, this man watched her on TV, knew exactly who she was. Now he in the family mix. And, why is he fighting with Peyton when he knows that this family for sure does not have a lot of emotional evolution? The other thing that I thought was so fun that I've seen online, after McKelty's interview on Pop Psych, fans of Sister Wives are now debating which brown kids they want to see write a memoir. And I love this discussion because I want to see Gwen or Leon write a memoir. Leon's on Substack. So Leon, they be writing whatever the hell they want. I want a tell all from Leon. I do. Leon's another one that I want as a guest on my show. Whew. Leon doesn't like to be on TV, I don't think. But I want or Gwen. Gwen doesn't hold back. I think Gwen would be great. But Gwen's another one that's kind of, she loves her dad. She loves her dad. She defends her dad. She's not really a Robyn fan. She'll call out Christine a little bit. But I'm on an island, per usual. I'm the only one that wants Gwen and Leon to write memoirs. Most people want Dayton, Gabe, and Savannah to write a memoir. Those were the top fan choices. But most people believe Mykelti or Maddie will be the first to write memoirs. Oh, somebody said Logan and someone wants Truly. Truly would be juicy. Truly in that custody. Truly, girl, what went down that custody room? We want to know, sister, because that's a closed case. Truly, you got all the tea, girl. That's actually a good one. I didn't even think about Truly because she's 15 now? I want a book from Truly. Dang. Okay, Truly girl. So anyhow, Mykelti and Maddie, people feel will be the first to write ones, which I actually do think is true. Mykelti already said she wants to write one. She just doesn't have the emotional bandwidth. Logan would be very fair. Okay, I would love a Logan. I would love a Logan memoir. So there's what you missed on Sister Wives. That's what people are talking about. I love the fan novel idea. I think that is so good. Let's talk about Special Forces for a second. Where's our guy? Kody Brown on Special Forces. Now, Special Forces. Y'all know I have a hot take on Special Forces, which I think the show is garbage. But I got to tell you, this past week's episode, it airs on Thursday nights, by the way. We're in season 4. Yes, Special Forces has lasted 4 seasons. So if you aspire to pitch a movie or a TV show, let that be your guide. All right? If they can do it, you can do it. So, but I got to tell you, this past week, I went from hate watching to I actually laughed. It was so comical. The way that Gia Giudice and Brianna Chicken Fry that they hate Kody is so, and Sean East, it's so good, you guys. The hate, like the hatred that they all have for Kody is off the charts. So this week's episode, first of all, Sean and Kody are partnered. They have to go into this, I don't know, whatever, they're supposedly fighting terrorists or something. They have to save a victim or something and then find this box. They completely F it up because Kody runs around the set like a chicken with his head cut off. The dude he's the Energizer Bunny. They go, ready, go. He just runs. He forgets about Sean East, really. He could care less. They find the, victim. He's hoisting the victim up and he's then they're in gas masks and he's yelling at her to go get the box. Well, he takes off with the prisoner or the injured, whatever, U.S. soldier, whoever it's supposed to be. She has no idea where he is, what she's looking for. She's running all over Heck and High Acre to get back to try to find him. He didn't tell her that he exits the whole stage area where the whole fighting is happening and he's waiting outside. You guys, the guy is on a solo fucking mission. It's so comical. So then, of course, he has to explain to Sean and Sean's husband, because couples are allowed on Special Forces. And Sean, she's a former, gymnast, Olympian. He's like, yeah, I'm so sorry. I left you. Yeah, I did. I left you. I deserted your wife and I saved the prisoner. And Brianna Chicken Fry jumps in and she's like, you know what, Kody, I really think you need to stop leading and you need to follow. And he's like, yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with that. So then they end up making him, they have some sort of staff leader in the group, right? We're down to, by the way, 5, 6 contestants because Mark Estes was voted off this week. He had a medical issue. And so did Christy Rampino, the soccer player, the famous soccer player. She had to be medically discharged. So we're down to 6, right? Which Kody has made it this far. So they assign him to be staff leader, which essentially means, you have to make sure that the group has food, medical supplies, anything they need. And then you have to report to staff if you don't have what you need. So him running around with that hair, staff, I need 4 Band-Aids and a thing of garbanzo beans. So the staff guy gets him the stuff. Then he comes back and he snaps at Gia Judisha and Gia in the crowd. He like yells at them. He's like, all right, I'm going to get some shut eye. So I'm going to need y'all to be quiet. Capiche? They're all like, dude, go blank yourself, you loser. It is now turned into a comedy. Like, I don't care what people say about Kody Brown. The man is fabulous on TV. He's the Stacey Rush of TLC. Stacey Rush, I mean, has more awareness, but she is my favorite housewife. Stacey Rush is so delusional. She's fabulous for television. I can't look away. Kody is the same way. Special Forces, by the way, Kate, is on Fox every Thursday night. And he runs around. The curls are waving in the wind. He's in Morocco. And I truly think in his mind, too, he thinks that he's fighting terrorists when he is doing Special Forces. Like the rest of them are all like, ugh, okay, another day, another $25,000. Like how much longer can I stay here to get 300 grand? I truly think in his mind, he is so unfazed. And I think he really thinks that there could be terrorists out there on this set that he may have to really fight. Like, it's so good. But the best part of all of this week's episode is it culminates when the staff, they pretend to kidnap each of the recruits, right? Which they put a bag over their head. They walk them to a set next door, but it's supposed to be like this secret room. I freaking loved it. The staff interview him. And, some people are calling this the first moment that Kody sort of takes accountability for the fact that he failed as a father and he failed as a husband without fully backtracking. Okay. So we've seen Kody take accountability somewhat on season 19 and season 20, but of Sister Wives, of the actual show. But then what he'll do is he'll say, I need to work on my relationship with my kids. But then in the next sentence, he'll say, if my kids don't call me, I will never speak to them again. He just does these things like, my kids have shown me no respect, therefore they're cut off forever. He just does these contradictory things. So a lot of people find this moment where they bring him in and they grill him about being a father and about being a good husband as the first time that he sort of takes real accountability, and he really cries. I think the crying is genuine, very genuine. And he says, he's been a failure as a father. And, he engages with his kids when they engage with him, which the guys are like, oh my God. And by the way, now, of course, the staff, those guys are the staff sergeants, the men that are like the military men, right? Obviously they're prepped on who these reality stars are prior to coming to the show. But did anyone else watch that scene and say to themselves, I actually think the staff sergeant guys I think they were actually shocked about Kody and having 4 wives. You know what I mean? Like they were like, I think they were thrown off. They were both there like, so 4 wives? He's like 4 wives. These guys, I think it's easier to fight terrorism than it is to have 4 wives. But they were like, when you take accountability, your life will change. So some people did feel that this was the most sort of emotion that they've gotten from Kody and the most accountability without fully backtracking. But he does have this moment where he's saying he's a failure. Things did not pan out the way he wanted. And then he sort of says, I'll engage with my kids when they engage with me. And the guys are like, that's not really how it works, dude. They don't fully call him out and say, look, you're the adult. You're the parent. You keep engaging. But they do basically say, yeah, you're a failure. You're a failure in that department. And until you own that, it's going to be hard for you to move forward in your life. So a lot of people love that they called him out. And then lastly, on Special Forces, I do think he's going to come close to winning it. I'm not sure if he's going to win it. I think Chicken Fry is going next week. I think she'll be done. I think he's going to be down to the top 3, though. I really do. Sean East may win it. I think Sean East's husband's going to be out. The women are great, though. The women are really good. Really, really good. I'm so blown away. But I think Chicken Fry's next. They're sort of over. They're kind of over Chicken Fry. So, but then they all have to write, at the end of the episode, they all have to write a letter to their loved ones, right? Like they're a Navy SEAL. They're going to do a big mission. They may never come home. People are losing their minds. Kody writes, "My sweet queen, Robyn." The whole letter is to Robyn. There ain't a mention of any kid. People are like, dude, anything about your late son, Garrison, who tragically passed, anything about, I don't know, the kids that actually live in your house? Like, yeah, no. This is all about to my sweet Robyn. You've gotten me through the toughest of times, the lowest of low. This man is obsessed with Robyn. Robyn to me is like the Lauren Sanchez of reality TV. She got one heck of a magic pussy. Like, what is it that woman has over this man? This man, he in Morocco, he can't even think about anything but my sweet queen, Robyn. Okay, I actually enjoyed the show this week. It was so funny. It was epic. It was epic. I got to move on. I have so many topics to cover. Let's talk about Lydia Plath. So anyhow, Sister Wives, if you want to weigh in right now, please do. What's the big deal? He loves his wife. Hey, look, Sharon, I'm not debating you. I want Kody and Robyn on my podcast. I think they're very interesting. No crossing the canyons. One staff told him to hurry up and like it's one of your wives waiting. I know the staff sergeants are so funny. He's in love with her, something he cannot say about the other three. Yeah, he is in love with her. The letters seemed performative. LOL. Was there an update on Blake Lively? Yeah, we're going to get to that. Okay, so there you have it for Sister Wives. Again, I couldn't be more addicted to this show. Let's talk about Lydia Plath really quickly. Talking about growing up, she was on Ginger Duggar's podcast. Lydia Plath now opening up about the unconventional way her family received groceries when she was growing up, because she's one of the stars of Welcome to Plathville. In fact, she's become the runaway star, I think, this season. Ginger and Jeremy podcast. And Lydia Plath is basically crediting Kim and Barry, saying that when she grew up, they mostly grew their vegetables. And she said she had a great childhood. They loved telling stories back then. And instead of going to the grocery store shopping, we would meet a semi-truck every 2 weeks at the top of our driveway and get a pallet of groceries, she continued. Then once a month, we would meet a semi and get a pallet of all dry goods, like the oats, raisins. We would buy everything by like the 5-gallon bag or the 50-pound bag, she says. It was almost like Costco being delivered to us. Jeremy went on to ask Lydia Plath to explain how it worked, observing, was this like the original Walmart delivery? My mom discovered it, Lydia said. I don't know. I've actually wanted to ask her, like, how did you even discover this? Because it was so insane that that's how they grocery shopped for years. So she didn't ever really go to traditional grocery stores. Look, the Plaths, they on another planet, okay? This family, they sheltered those kids. Those kids didn't even know the internet existed till 2019, and they've gone bonkers. They've gotten married, divorced. Kim got a DUI. She loves a glass of wine now. Before, they were like, don't drink. Oh my God, if the Lord could see you drinking, you're going straight to hell. Not anymore. They booze. Barry's on the hunt, on the prowl. They crazy now. So we'll see. But anyhow, if you want to listen to more of the podcast, there you go. The other thing is you want to go to the Balkans with Olivia Plath. Who wants to go? I'm so ready. Lydia Plath asking fans to travel with her June 13th through the 27th of 2026, 15-day trip to the Balkans and other countries around there. Okay, I would go in a heartbeat. Let me tell you. I just don't know that a newborn that it's going to go well. But yeah. Yep. I'm here for it. I'm here for it in a big way. So if you want to sign up, go to her Instagram. You can find it there. Let's talk about Blake Lively getting not Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni getting a huge apology from Harvey Levin as he apologizes to Brian Friedman, Baldoni's attorney, after TMZ wrongly reported that Justin Baldoni missed a deadline to refile claims against Blake Lively. So Harvey Levin acknowledged that TMZ made a big mistake reporting that Wayfarer parties missed the appeal deadline and Justin was walking away from his case. Harvey Levin admitted to Brian Friedman live and apologized for TMZ screwing up. Quote, Justin Baldoni missed his deadline to file story. He says the team just analyzed it completely wrong internally, most likely because someone didn't properly calculate when the final judgment countdown actually started. At that point, Mark Garagos, who co-hosts a podcast with Harvey Levin, says it was Blake Lively's team that spun the story and headline so badly that it even confused TMZ. Whether they appeal depends on where things stand when Lyman restarts the tolling. Friedman expects the Wayfarer parties would be victorious after we win a trial, which might influence their decision about whether to appeal. So this is like, Justin Baldoni countersued Blake Lively, if you've been following this whole thing, for damages. And it sounds like he still can do that and may be able to do it even after post-trial. The trial is still on. Brian Friedman, Justin Baldoni's legendary attorney, says they cannot wait for trial, that Justin Baldoni is such a good person, and he's going to be vindicated in March of 2026 when this finally all goes down. Friedman goes on to say he's not seeing mainstream media giving Justin Baldoni the rest of the Wayfarer parties a fair shake. If that's what Harvey is seeing, why is TMZ writing all these Leslie drafted press releases that are in favor of Blake Lively? Conversations have veered towards it appears that Blake Lively is winning, while Brian Friedman tells fans and tells people following this story, just wait. Just wait. Okay, also, Blake Lively has put up a potential witness list. Blake Lively has named Taylor Swift, Hugh Jackman, Gigi Hadid, and more in an unsealed document. The courtroom at Blake Lively's trial, It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni, could be a star-studded affair. It'll likely go to trial in March over her claims of sexual harassment and workplace misconduct against Baldoni, with a huge list of A-list potential witnesses. Now, just because they are potential witnesses does not mean that they will be called. Author Colleen Hoover is one of them. Lively, who co-starred with Baldoni on It Ends With Us, has alleged a smear campaign and a sexual harassment lawsuit. And Brian Friedman's like, let's see it. Let's prove it. Prove the sexual harassment, girl. We ready for it. The potential witness list in Lively's It Ends With Us, according to documents, lists Taylor Swift. It lists Ryan Reynolds, Colleen Hoover, Hugh Jackman, Gigi Hadid, Emily Blunt. His name Emily Blunt. What's Emily Blunt gonna have to say? America Ferrera. America Ferrera? She don't want to be on that list. Why is she on that list? Again, we will see. Blake Lively is also now seeking $160 million in the Justin Baldoni lawsuit. She's putting a hefty price tag on her legal team. The Gossip Girl alum is seeking $161.2 million in damages from Baldoni and his co-defendants in their ongoing lawsuit. The compensation does not include punitive damages, non-economic damages, and attorney's fees, which have yet to be assigned. So she's going to put like $200 million on him. But don't worry. Brian Friedman says, hold my beer. We going to do the same to her after we clobber her in trial. Lively is demanding lost earnings. She says not less than $56 million, as well as lost profits totaling $71 million. Woo! We'll see what happens. With regard to earning power, Lively claims she will lose at least $17 million in lost acting or producing opportunities from August 2024 since the release of It Ends With Us, when all this kicked off. Up, you team Baldoni or you team Blake Lively? Lastly, as we wrap up today's show, Kate Gosselin is now going public with her long-rumored romance, Steve Nealed, her former bodyguard. Oh, you're kidding. We've known this for what, a decade? Former TLC star is now 50 years old, went IG and TikTok official on November 8th. 10 things I'm obsessed with. On both platforms, Gosselin has not responded to People Magazine's request for a comment. She's been dating him for over a year, she says, posted 2 snaps of him as part of a video slideshow. My boyfriend, she wrote, 2 images of herself and Nealed as they posed in their bathing suits on a beach setting. Now, a lot of people, of course, remember Steve because he was the family bodyguard back in 2009. Gosling did not reveal her boyfriend's last name in the post. Several fans have commented on his resemblance to the Gosling family bodyguard. It's the same person, y'all. She was accused of having an affair with him in 2009 when he was a married man. She has vehemently denied that things ever turned romantic, but now they did just a year ago because she says he's now single. Y'all believe that? Ooh. Ooh. Are you all believe it? John Gosling ain't. She says she has found peace with Nealed. And Nealed apparently made his TikTok debut in September when he handed her a latte slightly out of frame. Can you do a live with your boyfriend in the future? Fans wrote. Kate said, reading one of her fans' comments, he's not very fond of going live. I won't rule it out, but he's not overly crazy about this whole thing. We will see. Ooh, does anyone believe for 1 second that they just started seeing each other? And then a lot of people are like, who the fuck cares? Who cares about her? Okay, there you go. You guys, so much show this week. So much show. The comedian Michelle Wolf is on the podcast on Wednesday. David Yontif behind the velvet rope is here. And by the way, be sure to be subscribing to my podcast. I will be going live all BravoCon weekend. We are going to have huge announcements at BravoCon from reportedly the cast of RHO and J, Roni, an OG Roni show featuring Luann, Señorita. It's going to be so good. So I will be going live, giving you the latest dirt with all my take. Be sure to subscribe to TSFS everywhere you get your pods. Okay, bye everybody.